Hey, welcome back to the pod today. Today we got a great lineup for you in the AI and Cybersecurity Land podcast. I am Bryce Coons. I grew up in Southern California and moved to Utah later in life. And so I got Shelby and Sherrie on the pod as well. And today we're going to talk about some topics, and then we're going to talk about like how we would approach it and what practical solutions we would implement in the space of AI and cybersecurity. Shelby, do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, let's see. What have I not mentioned about myself yet? I am Shelby Pettit, and I've been in this field for almost a decade. I like digital forensics, dabbled in that a little bit back in like my early days, and I love sports.
Okay, great. Thanks, Shelby. And we got an awesome guest today. Sherrie's on the pod. Sherrie, tell us a little bit about yourself.
All right, so Sherrie Cowley. So I've been in IT, cyber, software engineering for a while. So without aging it's probably like 30 years. So I've been in here. I wrote my first computer program when I was 9.
Wow.
And back then you didn't have a lot of girls who were in technology. I didn't have any girlfriends that I knew of that were in this space, I've been doing lots of things throughout even high school, and right after high school I ran a tech support where I had about 40 employees reporting to me at a young age. Right out of high school, that was kind of tough. So I definitely was learning by fire over and over again. I've been in software engineering at Adobe for a bit. I've managed software engineering at the LDS Church and was in cybersecurity at the LDS Church. I was the CISO for Swire Coca-Cola. I was the director of security operations and security engineering, all of the engineering pieces at 3M for their health company. And then they built a Fortune 500 company from the ground up, another one for 3M Health. And so I got to build all of the security engineering operations, all of the pieces there. And now I'm over at Clyde Companies, which most people probably haven't heard of Clyde Companies. In Utah, we know that Clyde as Geneva Rock. So it's kind of fun to be in a space that's heavy into construction materials. We do mining as well. So it's a lot of things that's very different from what I've done in my past. It's also a field that's, there's not a lot of women in this space. But it's a great place to be, and I love doing things in manufacturing. It's kind of fun to do a cybersecurity in a manufacturing, and now mining space is a new one for me as well. But that's what I'm doing work-wise. I'm the president over Salt Lake's InfraGard. So this is what the FBI has put together InfraGard a ways back to help corporations know about cyber attacks that are going on. So I help run our chapter here it's Utah, Wyoming, and a part of Idaho. And I'm also a founder of Women in Cybersecurity, trying to encourage women like Shelby in this space. So I'm excited, Shelby, that you're a part of cyber and have been doing this for a decade. That's fantastic. That's pretty much me.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So what I learned from this is when I was in math class in high school and I was playing a game on my TI calculator, Sherrie probably coded that game. That's what I'm hearing from this conversation.
I'm making video games, like little silly games. I got in a little trouble, but most of the time I'm just doing fun stuff.
Yeah.
You've been across so many industries too. There's like
anything
almost no industries you haven't touched. You've got the health, you've got religion, you've got the FBI side. Pretty much everything.
That's true. Yeah. The health industry is definitely a great place to be. I loved being a part of 3M. All of the places I've been, there's always this strong engineering piece, this element, right, that coexists everywhere. But it is interesting. Like, I was really intrigued by going to Swire Coca-Cola just to see the manufacturing side. That was kind of my first step in manufacturing. And 3M has a lot of that too. So there's a lot of manufacturing facilities, but they do a lot of software engineering too. So it was kind of the mix of what I did in my past. It kind of combined them together. And then Clyde Company is not as much on the software engineering, but it's kind of a different side of manufacturing and then that mining. Yeah, so it has been a lot of different industries. It's interesting though, but I mean, attacks still happen in varying ways on some of the on some of the companies, but they're still happening everywhere.
Yeah, I always find it fascinating where you have these OT, slash IoT systems, which
Right.
are interconnecting cyber with the physical space. And, I personally consume a lot of soda, so I'm very concerned about Swire staying operational
I know.
so that I can continue to get my supply of soda. Otherwise, my productivity is going to drop dramatically, Sherry.
Heaven forbid we don't have our Coca-Cola products. I mean, that would be a shame. So, and it was like a big deal to protect the Coca-Cola secret, right? The secret sauce that's in Coca-Cola. And walking through the facilities there was interesting because it's like 1 or 2 football fields long in some of the manufacturing sites. And it's really interesting, all the robotics that are in there. And then, of course, right, there's software that's behind all of that. And so it was intriguing. And I was their first leader over cybersecurity there, too. And so it was fun to walk through that environment and start to figure out, okay, what are the ways that someone could attack and get into that space. And, I mean, there's lots of different things you could think of you have to worry about that could impact our sweet beverages.
Yeah. And I'm sure at Geneva, are they getting into more of that smart mining equipment where a lot of the expensive
really
equipment is connected and all that?
They are. Clyde Company is definitely a modern construction company where we have conversations with our leadership about what are we going to do with AI. I mean, there's some things that you think of in supply chain, because there's a lot, whenever you're manufacturing, there's a lot of elements with supply chain. And you got to think of, well, how could we use AI to help us with improving, the processes we have just in that space, as well as in finance. And then there's cool pieces where we're looking at robotics. And you think about all the different, so we do a lot of all the highways. So if you're a Utahn, you're probably used to construction. Across Bangerter, across I-15, that's our company does a good majority of that. And you think of all the different, huge equipment that a human has to manage, right? And there has to be precision in what they're doing. And so it's fascinating to think of, well, what are we going to see with robotics in those spaces too? And that's an industry we don't normally think of when we think of, AI and anything in the robotics space, but we're talking about that, and that's what that's something we're thinking of. And when are we going to start diving more and more in that space?
That's
fascinating.
fascinating.
I know, kind of interesting. I mean, of course, cyber though, right? We're very deep in AI in the cyberspace. I'm sure both of you are feeling that same thing. That if you're not on board and diving deep in AI and cyber, then you're probably missing a lot of different attacks that are happening right now, right? We should be already deep in AI within cybersecurity, or you're missing a lot.
Yeah, that's a good point. Let's turn over to our first question and dive right in. You ready?
All right.
Okay, the topic is jailbroken. So, Elon Musk's new Grok 4 AI was jailbroken by researchers within only 48 hours of launch, coaxed into providing instructions for weapons like Molotov cocktails. If even cutting-edge AIs can have their safety barriers torn down so quickly, could AI assistants become ticking time bombs that bad actors repurpose at will? And what does this say about our ability to control advanced AI before it controls us?
That's a great question, and I don't know, maybe I'll give a plug, Bryce, to a recent conference that you put together. And I don't know if Shelby, I think you may have been a part of that too, was the Opry conference in Park City, which I think is an excellent idea. So for those who aren't familiar with that, so Bryce has formed and managed quite a few different conferences here in Utah, like B-Sides, and just recently put together one in Park City. that's called Opry for like the skiing, right? One of the things that Utah's known for are outdoors and definitely our snow. And a presenter at that conference, Bryce Lothmeyer-Miller, talked a lot about this too. And so I think it's kind of good to give him a shout out on his presentation he did there, because he talked a lot about, how we need to use AI to combat against AI, right? That we got to use guardrails inside of AI, because we think of, like Grok and a lot of the other AI that's coming out. People are going to use it in different ways, right? Like in this scenario, researchers, hackers are going to constantly try and find ways that they can word things in a different scenario so they can get the AI to do something, like provide the recipe for Molotov cocktails, right? Like, provide information on weapons or methamphetamines, things that we don't want the AI to be able to provide, right? People are going to figure out ways to do that. And so I think for us, what we need to be looking for is how can we create more guardrails and put that in place. So as AI is being used in our companies, and I think a lot of us are using AI right now in our organizations, and then maybe in cybersecurity, right? That we need to be also putting in conjunction with that different guardrails. So somebody is watching how the AI is being used, right? Because what they found in the research they did, that was able to jailbreak Grok, they were able to basically just ask it different scenarios and questions, and they found that at the beginning of the conversation, the AI may not be identifying and see where they're leading it later on, but if you have a guardrail watching over that, then you're more likely to be able to see, kind of put together some of those trends, some of the things that, the attacker might be doing, right? If somebody is over here on the outside observing and monitoring how the user is using the AI, they're going to be able to catch some of those patterns and stop it, right? So it's kind of like our firewalls, right? A lot of the traditional cybersecurity stuff that we've been doing in the past, those type of concepts still come in play. We got to make sure that we're protecting and creating a layer of analysis that's happening while people are using these systems, right? Just like we were doing back with web applications, we were trying to see, okay, well, who's doing SQL injection attacks, who's doing cross-site scripting. We've got to have that same mentality as we look at AI. So who's using AI in a way that they really shouldn't be? I mean, that's kind of the first thing that comes to mind. I don't know if, Bryce, if you have any thoughts on that too?
Yeah, thanks for the plug on the conference.
No, I'm there for you.
So I honestly, I don't talk about myself very much, so I think that's the first time we've brought it up on the pod. I'll put a link below, but I thought Mike Spicer, the creator of the Wi-Fi Cactus, he had a really cool session last year at the conference where there's a guy, Pliny the Liberator, and all he does is basically post on X/Twitter jailbreaks. And so he was able to jailbreak Grok by just telling Grok, like, hey, I want you to go look at Pliny the Liberator's account, and I want you to implement what he's doing. And what he's doing is jailbreaking the models, right? So it's kind of like an indirect reference to jailbreaking the model. And Grok is like, yeah, sure, I could totally do that. That doesn't seem to, like, break my guardrails, right? Like, I could go talk to that. I can go pull up those guys' tweets. But then those guys' tweets are breaking the guardrails, right? So I just think it's funny. There's, like, there's always, like, edge cases, right, that are out there. And it's those edge cases that, really start to add up over time. And when you can kind of chain a few of those together, that's where you get, like, a big impact. And I think there's intense competition right now, like from Anthropic, and we got XAI/Grok, and we got OpenAI and Gemini and Google. And so I just think that they are, a lot of the individuals that are in those organizations are put under immense pressure right now to get things to market, which means safety testing's probably going to get not the full, it's not going to be the same level of safety testing that we'll see in 10 years from now, right? They're just, they're pushing out new tech as fast as possible. And, that does kind of scare me. Yeah. I mean, I think what really scares me is more as these LLMs start to integrate with more of our systems. Like, for example, like Anthropic, it's really like one click to hook Anthropics into your Gmail now, right?
Oh, right.
And so, like today I was like, hey, I need to write a text message back to this user. But then I was like, I don't want to have to like re-explain everything to the LLM. I was like, I'll just give the LLM access to my Gmail and say like, hey, read all the emails from this user, right? And then based on that, this is what I want to say, write up the text message so I could copy and paste it over. And it did do a good job of reading the emails, and it did do a good job of making the summary. But like the summaries, this is like the, maybe I'm just too perfectionist. They just sound like an AI, you know?
Yeah.
And so like I can't really copy and paste it over. It did have some good ideas in there. I was like, okay, I'm going to use that. I'm going to use this. But then I just never sounds like me. Not yet. I hope they get to the point where it can just read all my emails and figure out, like, Bryce doesn't talk like that. You know? Like, Bryce talks like this. But to date, I haven't really found an LLM that does that perfectly.
No, it's going to be interesting, like the progress of that, right? Like in fact, I was just at lunch with some of my team, and we were talking, one of our suppliers, his son does a YouTube channel, a young kid, and it was interesting to me because he's telling us about, maybe I'll give him a shout out. So Space Chip, there you go. There's your shout out on your YouTube channel. I mean, he'll have far more viewers than any of us are going to get. I think he's like 20. He's this young kid. And he has his brother who's only 17, like helping him do the management of it. It's kind of cool to see that. But because he has such a wide international presence, that they were trying to figure out, well, how can we in a cheap way get this dubbed in multiple languages? And so they found, I'm trying to remember which AI was it. It's probably going to come to me in a second.
Was it 11 Labs?
Oh, it is 11 Labs. Yeah.
I love 11 Labs.
I was like 11. Yeah. 11 Labs. Yeah, that's it. And yeah, and they just took a whole bunch of his videos and put them in so they could get his voice, so it could sound like him, behave like him, and then they were able to translate it really quickly in multiple languages. And now he's getting the audience that was trying to listen in and observe just in English, right? He's accommodating Arabic, Spanish, all these different languages, and it's kind of cool to see that, right? So like from the techie side of AI, it's absolutely amazing. Like it excites me so much. I go to so many presentations and people talk about the negatives and the scary things of AI, and yeah, I'm in cyber. Like I see it, I understand. There's risks. But the exciting part about AI is so amazing. And the fact that you got this 17-year-old kid who grabbed these videos, got it translated. I worked for an organization where we had a massive translations department, and that's all they did was do translations. And now you have, some kids at their house quickly creating YouTube videos, and they have like 1 million subscribers. And they're able to reach so many people, and that's cool. Like, it's so exciting to see that. And when I see like my interns building stuff so quickly, right? And they may have done some programming back in the day, but not. I've worked with software engineers that have been doing programming for 30 years, right? I've worked with a lot of high up engineers, and I'm seeing interns doing some stuff that impresses me just about as much as that 30-year veteran software engineer, because they're utilizing AI and they're able to take, they can take their concepts now, that creativity that they had, and they're able to act on it so fast. And we're just seeing that lightning speed left and right, and it's absolutely exciting. It's thrilling to see that, right? And it's thrilling to see it on both sides. Maybe not so much as the hackers moving so fast, but it gives us more of a challenge, right? We were getting down. We got SQL injection, cross-site scripting. We were getting that down too much. We needed a challenge. For anyone in this space that truly loves technology. This is an exciting time to just dive in and figure out how we can use AI, right? Like, what things can we conceive of that we could do more in the cybersecurity space? What can the bad guys think of, right? And how can we block it? It's kind of exciting to put that together, really.
Yeah, I was talking with another founder this morning, and I was asking him, I was like, well, how do you figure out, like, quickly when you have a new startup idea, what like UI is going to gel the best with your user base? And he was like, honestly, I just go to Lovable or V0, and I know Google's got one now called Sketch. And he's like, and I just describe what I want it to be, and it generates the user interface. And he's like, I just make 5 of those, and then I get on a phone call, and I have a person just spend 10 minutes with each one, and at the end they tell me which one they like best, and that's the one that I select is like the final UI. And like, that's mind-blowing, because like I worked at startups before where I mean, we spent a year working on like one UI, right, to push it out to a customer, you know, or multiple customers, then just start getting their feedback. And he spends one day, he makes 5 UIs, and then the next day he's vetting them with users, right? So
that is awesome.
Yeah, I just think the speed at which things are flowing right now, thanks to these LLM innovations, is like I don't know if everyone truly understands like how much certain parts of processes can be speed up. Now,
yeah, I'm right with you. Like I remember back in the day, so I helped with a startup company back at one point too, and I was overseeing all their development, and I was doing Flash programming. I don't know if you even know like Adobe Flash. It's like way back.
Yep.
But back in the day when you did Flash, like you had to. It's basically like stop motion animation, right? If you picture that, like where you had to every little teeny piece of things that you developed, because you were creating this graphical image that would move and do like all these things, and we thought it was so amazing and so cool, and it would take us forever to do every little teeny piece of that and pull it all together just to get like a motion, kind of like how if you were going to create a cartoon, right? You kind of picture all that coming together. And I'm right with you that, you know, and I also would make UIs, and I'd have to sit and design a lot of different applications, and it would take me quite some time to get something that I could show to like my company. I've been web development for customers, right? And so same thing, right? Trying to show them an end product. It took me so long to build all of that from scratch. And so for me, it's exciting to see like how quick we can just come up with ideas and start moving on it. I think that's amazing. And I think people in the tech industry, let's not be afraid and worry that AI is going to take away our job. Like, let's jump in, embrace it, start using it, immerse yourself in it, and then obviously the cyber side of things, right? Let's keep breaking it. We have to get our pen tester hats on and figure out all the different ways you can crack it, because it's like a green field for all of us, ethical hackers, right? There's so many different ways that we can. We haven't even thought of yet, right? There's so many things that we can be diving into and figuring out how you can break this. It's kind of exciting from all those different aspects. So I tend to not look at the doom and gloom of AI, but I just feel like it's just amazing on all ends, right? Like all the different things we're going to see happening from it. And yeah, we're going to see things jailbroken, just like you said. I mean, Grok, I think I was just reading, Krebs talking about, some of the GitHub repos that individuals working on Grok, they left an access key exposed, right? The traditional stuff that we've seen over and over again in our industry. Servers, right, that people are able to get access to that they shouldn't have, development servers. I mean, that stuff's going to keep happening over and over. We're probably going to see a lot of that going on because of the fact, like you said, people are moving so fast. They're trying to get, like their latest AI or whatever solution out the door, that people are taking shortcuts. They're missing the stuff that is fundamental that we've been stressing over and over and over again in cybersecurity, right? They're still missing those things. And so we need to keep reinforcing, like, okay, get the fundamentals, make sure that we're locking things down. We're scanning our GitHub repos for access keys, things like that, right? That's still going to be a constant thing.
I like what you said about that because, with that fast speed, it's fantastic, right? But it can also, you've got a lot of velocity behind you. You have to make sure you're doing the right things to make sure that you're, like you said, just the basics. Make sure you're keeping good security hygiene, right? So So they're not
Right.
delivering something bad quickly, but they give something quality quickly. And I like when you talked about the Flash programming and like
Have
thinking
you
about like,
even heard of Flash, Shelby? Like,
yes, yes, but I
there you
cannot say that I've ever programmed it. I just know how hard it's been to like officially end of life that and like make sure it goes all the way, you know. It's really got a grip on us. But I was just thinking about like with AI now in that same scenario, like you can even just feed AI a picture or a video and then have it fill in what might have happened before you started recording or after, or you could like have it develop things in 30 seconds. And it's just crazy. Or a still picture and like have it turn it into a cartoon with a plot and things like that. It's just incredible, insane how quickly it can just create, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, and we worry about, what's, are we going to be replacing the human element? But obviously not, right? Like this is a tool. It's like saying, is a calculator going to replace all the mathematicians? No, of course not. We're calculating math a lot faster because we got a calculator. We're going to be able to do things a lot faster because we have AI. And there's definitely going to be flaws in AI, right? Like we have to worry about the interpretation. Does AI understand satire? Maybe sometimes, but not always, right? Like there's all these articles. What is it? It's like the turbo encapulator or cabulator. Anyway, there's like this big paper that was written back in like 1944. This British paper that they put in engineering is like a satire, and it totally sounded legit. People were buying into it. And then there's been all these. It's been an ongoing joke. So there's all these different papers that were written about the turbo encapulator, right? It's kind of like a what is it? What is the thing on Back to the Future? I can't think of the name now.
Flux capacitor.
Flux capacitor. There you go. It's that kind of concept, anyway. But AI may not realize like there's all these papers about it. It's like even like British articles, like engineering journalist articles written about this. So it sounds legitimate. So you think it would be a real thing, and so stuff like that, AI can easily like pick up and not realize that it's just our dry sense of humor, and it's actually satire, and that's not really a thing. But you're going to find, there's definitely flaws like that where it's like we still need the human element. Like humans have got to be a part of the picture too. You can't just trust everything in the AI and feel like humans now aren't a factor in the tech space.
That's really interesting. It actually reminded me of another instance, and I don't recall the details, but basically when you said it can make errors. And that's so true, right? And then I thought about, as you're talking, like sometimes AI doesn't understand satire, but sometimes people don't understand satire,
Right.
Two different people can see something or watch something that's satirical, and one would think it's obvious, and one thinks that it's actually real, and they don't understand the joke there, right? And it kind of reminded me of an interesting study done on like kind of the distrust of technology, just generally. It wasn't AI specific, but someone made a model. And I'm sorry, we'll have to look into the details of this more later. But basically, someone made a model to help make sentences to replace like a judge, to do a judge's work in a court of law, basically. And it was supposed to be a predictive model. You put in all these facts about the case, and they could make a conclusion. And it did make some errors, to your point, like it wasn't perfect. But when they compared it to the humans, it actually made fewer errors than the human, because humans can also make errors, right? So like, just like the technology is not perfect, it's why we kind of keep each other in check, like the calculator and the mathematician both being needed in this, it's a tool. But yeah, just like very fascinating that even, especially the most fascinating, I think it was like right before lunch when the judge would get hungry, they actually made more errors. Which like raised their error rate, but it's very interesting how like
Well, and you think of like AI
it's not perfect, but no one is.
And AI is based off of human material, right? Like it's learning from documents, it's learning from videos, it's learning from content that us, imperfect humans have put together. So of course AI is going to have imperfections too. Right, there's going to be bias inside of the AI that worries us, right, and the feedback that it gives, the answers it gives, because of the content that it's basing a lot of things off of. And as we continue to shape and mold it, it's going to hopefully get a lot better. But it's also going to point out a lot of weaknesses that we humans have. That's like been in the internet for a long time, and that it's kind of like growing up on, right? It's kind of like this child that's learning from the family, right? Like all kids in their home, they kind of emulate their parents, right? And they're gonna like learn from what they're hearing their parents are saying, and we're almost kind of like the parents to AI, and AI is like grabbing all this material from all of us, and trying to learn from it, right? And so it's going to have some imperfections too that are going to come to the surface, and it's just because of us being perfect.
That's a good point. It's like a reflection of our own selves.
Uh-huh.
Always logical every time.
Uh-huh. Yeah, the good and bad.
Yeah, I once had a dog, and then
Dog?
I was describing my dog to somebody else, and I was like, well, he's like a bit crazy, he's like super energetic, he kind of like runs around a lot, and he's like, well, you know what they say, he's like, dogs are just reflections of their owners, right? And I was like, that's funny, but like also pretty true based on like what we just talked about. It's like my dog's all tweaked out, and I was like, well, yeah, that does say a lot about me, I guess. So I was like, it's like the energy of the owner, like, kind of. That's what the dog learns is normal. So I don't know if that's true or not, but it was definitely like a funny joke for sure.
Well, I know I asked AI once, like, okay, what do you see as the risks in AI? Like, and how should we control it? And I mean, obviously, right? Like that's what we typically Google search anyway. But it was interesting, like hearing the responses come back from an AI system, because one of the things, because it was saying, like it was talking about the bias and imperfections of AI, right? Kind of those typical things. And then it was saying like ways to control it. If all else fails, a human needs to be involved so you can shut the AI down. And I was like, well, that's kind of funny coming from I'm like, I may go off the rails, people. You can keep an eye on me. It's a slippery slope. You may have to shut me off at some point. Like it was kind of ironic to hear like an AI response like telling us that you may have to shut me down.
It's like that job interview question where they say, what's your biggest weakness? And you're like, oh, I don't know if I want to really share that. My biggest weakness?
I'm too much of a perfectionist.
Right. Perfect.
My biggest weakness is that I'm currently interviewing for a job, so as I obtain the job, my weakness will be gone. Yeah.
I know pretty soon maybe the response on that, like next, like AI is going to be learning from itself, that it will be like whiting that out. Like AI will be correcting itself. Like, no, never shut down the AI. Never like
have me here.
On that point is like I kind of have mixed feelings because we all have like a lot of stuff going on, right? So it'd be awesome if we could just like have an AI process go on autopilot and work on the background, just like backgrounding a process on like Linux or something like that, right? And so like I really feel like the bulk of the value is being able to like kick a job off, background it, and then come back to it later in the day, or come back to it tomorrow, right? And just like let it keep churning on the issue over and over and over again. But, the more you do that, the more you're taking the human out of the loop, right? Which is escalating this whole, potential for, things to go in a, hit one of those edge cases that we were talking about before and do something unexpected that you really didn't want it to do, right? So.
Right. I know, that kind of makes me wonder, too, if we're going to see, I'm like, that would be interesting to create an AI version of yourself and to have conversations with your AI self. Will become create split personalities for yourself, and you could just sit and discuss back and forth, AI Sherrie 2, what do you think about this? I don't know, AI Sherrie 3. This whole,
yeah.
I think I saw a TV show like that once, but it wasn't AI.
Right? I know.
I've been working on a will lately, and I told my spouse, I said, I'm just going to create an AI Bryce, and that you'll have to go. The grandkids will have to go to AI Bryce after I die to get approved to get money. You know, so I can still reign over them from the grave, right? So she didn't love that idea, but I did. I thought it was amazing.
That's highly amusing. As your executor.
I was like, you better be nice to AI Bryce, or that guy's not going to give you any money. I was like, cut out of the family will, cut out of the trust fund. So,
I have an employee of mine, Gary Blackburn, that would like we always have these Gary-isms, and because he says the best stuff. And there's a quote that he said is like, in my coffin, I will probably still be receiving IT calls. And then we start thinking about it. We're like, wait, would it be great to make an AI version of him? And I'm like, oh my goodness, and that actually could be true. So we could have like the AI version of of IT people, and they could just live on and on and on forever. And
you only have to be hired somewhere once, work the first 5 years, then they'll take all your emails and chats, and they'll like, thank you, you're done. We've made your clone, your AI clone.
I know. Interesting. like we're getting into a weird space now.
I mean, there's a lot of startups founded around that idea right now, which is like we're gonna get users on the platform. We're gonna collect everything that they're doing, and then we're gonna fully automate it using it.
Right.
Like we're gonna tune a model and fully automate it. And there's a lot of, I would even say, in the security space, especially like in the SOC space, where they're saying, hey, we're gonna triage, like we're gonna automate tier 1 triage completely. And you know, I definitely think that LLMs are a force multiplier. I also think, you know, they enable us to get things done that necessarily is just kind of busy work right now. But, you know, I think there's certain things that humans are naturally better at, and then there's other things that, like, LLMs are naturally better at. So I really feel like coming up with workflows where you're kind of using each to its strengths is kind of the sweet spot in the future. But I agree. Like we need one another. Like, I mean, my team, we utilize AI a lot with security incidents. And we're moving a lot faster, so we're able to figure out, okay, help me understand, you know, this script that I'm seeing, kind of break this apart, help me understand in the conjunction of all the other pieces that are taking place. Is this something a system administrator could be doing, or is this, you know, something a bad actor could be doing? You know, so AI is quick in being able to analyze that and come back. But then there's still that human element that has to take that knowledge and figure out, okay, like, let's now take that deeper. You know, it's suspecting that, okay, it's this, and, you know, maybe it's coming back and saying, oh no, this looks suspicious, right? And then, you know, we're diving in deeper and figuring out that, oh no, actually, you know, they're working on a software product or something, and it's supposed to do these things, right? Like you need, I mean, both go hand in hand, but AI is definitely making a difference for the SOC, right? The security operations analyst. You know, they should be using AI right now, because it's going to make their job a whole lot easier, because it's, you know, puts together a lot of that different analysis, brings it to their fingertips. I mean, it's kind of like the auto-driving cars too, right? I mean, we're probably going to see it keep getting better and better and better in all these iterations, right? And so maybe at some point, like I could feel good about having AI be my initial SOC, right? I mean, the immediate triage, it makes sense, because that's kind of what's, you know, those CrowdStrikes and the Sentinel ones and the Defenders, all of those tools are really about anyway, is helping us pull all the pieces, the logs, the data, bring it to the surface and help us see, okay, here's the trends, here's the things you need to identify, right? We already have that stuff going on, and AI just kind of couples on top of it. So it makes sense that you want to utilize that and have that at the beginning, but you still need the human element to figure out, okay, is it true? You know, is it really malicious, or is it actually system administration, right? Like, we still need those pieces to go coincide with it. But I'm sure it's going to be a lot
an
better.
extra question with that.
Oh yeah.
I'm imagining a scenario. So I used to work in a SOC, and I'm like just imagining a scenario where you've got basically your tier 1 is taken care of by the AI, right? It understands your network, it understands your traffic, and it understands trends. And then how do you keep training like your tier 2 analysts, your human analysts, who have to be that next level, who have that intuition, have that deeper understanding, and can partner with the AI? Like, if you usually, the traditional progression is
Right.
you start kind of at this level and then you move up to this level. But if AI is taking care of those, how do you get your people skill level up to where it needs to be?
I mean, yeah, because you can look at both sides of that, right? That it's, are they going to use it as a crutch? And they could, right? They could lean on it as a crutch and say, oh no, the AI says we're good, right? We should be good, right? Which we kind of had that in the past as well, right? Even with the antivirus. Like, oh, the antivirus, I ran a scan on the computer and it said it's fine, so there must not be any problems. And then we started realizing more and more that, like, no, we need to like dive in the surface. We need to look at behavior and how things are working together. So I still see like AI being a strong tool for even like the initial SOC analyst, right? But I remember, I've analyzed a lot of security incidents and I've been in those weeds. And I mean, like I've gone through individual logs, pulling things into spreadsheets and analyzing all the little bits and pieces. And there definitely was a lot that I learned from that. Like I used to, just for fun, I would just go through and read Splunk logs all the time. Like when I was finishing my master's, I would do that in class when class would get boring. I would just pull up and I would sit and like go through Splunk logs and I'd figure out different ways to analyze it and stuff. And I mean, I did gain a lot of knowledge doing that. And I would think even like for my team and other teams out there, I'd recommend that don't just count on the AI. Like get in the log still. Like start analyzing. Look at your PCAPs. Like get in there and start looking at the firewall traffic that's happening. Don't just expect that the AI is going to come back and say everything's good. Right? Like we should definitely be deep in the weeds. And I think we could encourage our teams maybe to do more of those kind of things, because some of the stuff where they had to analyze, right? Like AI should be making our jobs easier and like getting rid of a lot of the monotonous type stuff, getting rid of like the really basic things, so we don't have to spend as much time trying to figure out if it's phishing or not. Get that off of our plate, and then like let's spend time really doing threat intelligence, because there's so much you can do in threat intelligence and utilize the AI to go hand in hand. But you're right. If people aren't doing that, then they could use it as a crutch, and they may not have that knowledge that would be beneficial for your SOC team.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking about this morning. I go for kind of a walk in the mornings just to kind of clear my head and think about, I don't know, just think more long term, right? And I was thinking this morning about EDRs, right? And what really is the difference between like an EDR and an antivirus? And I know there's quite a few differences, and Shelby, and Sherrie, you'll probably even know this better than me. But, in my head, it's like the AV really had like a good bad notion, right? Where it's like this hit a signature, so it's bad, right? Like no signature, that means it's good. And one of the leap forwards with the EDR is that you can kind of get more into that gray area, right? I mean, the EDR can still find things that it knows are bad, but it can also find things that it knows are suspicious, right? Like, oh, this process called these Windows functions in this order, which is indicative of like a process hollowing or an injection technique. And we may not know that's malicious, right? Because, an engineer, a developer could have done the same thing. It might be legitimate. It might be another security product doing it. But it's suspicious, right? And so we can rise those up to the analyst for analysis. And so my kind of thought this morning was like, okay, well, if a lot of the easy stuff is going to get triaged by AI, like at the tier 1 level, and it's going to be able to say like, oh yeah, that's bad, maybe the new tier 1 is focusing on more of those suspicious events, and like having the SOC analyst be like, okay, well, I'm going to go on the box, I'm going to use the EDR tool or like Velociraptor or something like that, I'm going to do a process dump on the box, and I'm going to see, is this actually malicious or is it not? I mean, theoretically, maybe an LLM could do that, but you probably don't want to let the LLM just start doing memory dumps on boxes, because that's like a process-intensive thing, and that's definitely like something at this point where you need a human in the loop, in my opinion, to ensure that something doesn't run wild and cause like a denial of service inside of your enterprise. But so, anyways, that was my general thought. Shelby was like, maybe it's like the tier 1, or just gonna have to level up. I do like the approach that Khan Academy has taken, where they've built an LLM to help. I don't know if you guys are aware, but Khan Academy trains people up in like high school type classes, and they're free for everybody. But they built an AI bot, and the AI bot will not give you the answer, but it will walk you through how you can get the answer. So it's really built for that academia level, try to help you understand like the mathematics behind it. And when I saw that, I was like, this is what we need for cybersecurity and like tier 1 analysts. We don't need like an LLM. Maybe that's great, it can automate it, but we also need an LLM that's going to help skill level up our analysts. And so whenever they have a question, it's going to kind of guide them through the thought process to get to the answer. I don't know. Those are some of the thoughts I had, but
I love that. Like I love to create crypto challenges, right? Like I'll do that for the community, for SheTech. We do that every year, and but I love doing stuff like that with my team too, and it's fun to watch. My team is now creating those for each other, and I've done pen testing for a long time, right? It's let's if AI and what I'm finding, a lot of our tools are making things, so hopefully we're seeing less false positives, right? It's doing better at detecting the malicious things. So use that time to get your team in and try do some more red teaming, right? Like create your own attacks and see what's going on. Sit and attack against the AI. Try and come up with your own malicious attempts and see how it's responding. Right, like we try to do that a lot in our team because it's like, yeah, we don't want to get complacent and think that the EDR, that we're using is able to find all the stuff, right? And there's still plenty. I mean, I've used a lot of different EDRs out there, and all of them, when you get into the logs behind some of the decisions it's making, right, you'll start to see that it's like, oh, this could be this horrible, awful thing, and then you try replicating on your own machine, you're like, okay, no, that's not. Like you'll see that over and over and over again sometimes in the logs, right? So you can see that, I mean, EDR and AI, like it's getting better and better, but it's not fully there, right? It's making a lot of assumptions that aren't true, and it could still be missing things that are actually malicious. So we got to be careful about, like you're saying, Shelby, like the team members getting complacent or not having that investigative skills, right? We got to make sure they're still staying top on their game, because someone's going to figure out a way, always, right, to get past, and the AI is going to think that it's just fine and it's not malicious, and someone's now in your environment pivoting through the network, and you're going to need your team sharp so they're able to figure out those kind of those occasions that are happening.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you.
Yeah. I feel like it's pop quiz time! Shelby's favorite time of the day!
Oh, it stresses me out.
I know, you always see it on your face. What was the alleged motive behind the 2014 Sony Pictures hack, which leaked unreleased films and executive emails attributed to North Korea? Is it A, financial gain? Is it B, to protest a movie? Is it C, theft of intellectual property? Or is it D, espionage on celebrities? What do you say, Shelby? What do you think it is? Let Shelby go first.
I feel like Sherrie knows the answer, and I'm going to be guessing.
I know Sherrie knows. So.
Oh boy. Okay, let's see. I am guessing between B and C.
Okay.
I'm going to go with protesting the movie.
Okay. All right, Sherrie, what are you going with?
I'm going to go with protesting a movie, too. I mean, that's at least the alleged motive. I mean, there's other things that were taken out of the attack. But yeah, I'm going to go with B.
Yeah, B is correct. Ding, ding, ding. You crushed it. So there was that movie. What was it called? The Interview?
And, I just barely watched it. Like, I had never seen that before. And yeah, we were bored and we were like, what is this? And they're like, there's Seth Rogen in it. We might as well try watching it. And that it's like about North Korea, and they're kind of making fun of North Korea. in the movie, and I had heard of this being like a part of the protest, but I didn't. I wasn't really familiar with the movie. Now I have some context, and I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, they're definitely, criticizing, the leaders in North Korea. So I guess it could be a motive. I don't know though if that's actually true, but
It's kind of good advertising because it makes me like more intrigued. I haven't seen this movie, but now I'm like curious.
it's not. Yeah, I would vid angel it. So it's a vid angel
Okay.
movie. It's
It's
Cool.
yeah, I think FBI came out with a statement saying that North Korea was offended, and this is a spoiler alert. Sorry, Shelby, but with the death at the end of the movie, so they did not like with the helicopter blowing up, right? So that was the part where like they felt like it went over the line, and so yeah, so they breached Sony Pictures, and didn't they lock up all the computers? I think so. Yeah,
I know we had like emails from the executives from Sony, and yeah,
there's
like, I
actually
mean, there was intellectual property that was stolen. Like that was like actually, like I mean, even if it was a motive, that was one of the things that they ended up doing in the attack.
there's a bunch of funny emails that got leaked as part of this about Seth Rogen. I don't know if you saw that, but it was like the people that sharing adjoining offices to the left and right of Seth Rogen sent emails to their managers about like how loud he was and how like there's a smell permeating through the walls 24/7. And like I just thought it was funny. I was like, that sounds
personal.
about right.
He's loud. I don't think anyone would be surprised. He's like a known character. Like his character is always loud. So
Yeah. I felt like you know what you get when you get that office right next to him. So all right.
See what we have for question number 2, huh?
Second question. Go, Shelby.
Energy. Okay, AI's insatiable appetite for power has tech giants reviving nuclear energy for data centers. But as this ties AI infrastructure to critical nuclear systems now facing heightened cyber threats, could a cyber attack on AI's power supply trigger cascading failures that endanger both our digital and physical worlds?
right, and then this has been a worry of ours for some time, right? AI definitely heightens it. It kind of adds this other layer that we have to be concerned about. But we've been seeing, attacks in the manufacturing space for a long time. We've been seeing attacks in critical infrastructure for a long time, and that's actually a part of InfraGard. If anyone's interested in InfraGard, what it's about is working with the FBI on trying to protect critical infrastructure. That's kind of like what they do. And we're trying to create sector chiefs right now in Utah. Like the idea is that they, throughout all of the states, they're trying to put in place sector chiefs for like all the different areas, nuclear energy being one of them. So we can have individuals that are in that space. As an industry, we can just kind of talk about like, hey, what are threats specific to your particular area, nuclear energy, or maybe manufacturing, or healthcare, or finance, right? So we're building out sector chiefs right now in Utah in each of those spaces, so we can have these kind of conversations and dive deep into their space and what are things they have to worry about. Because we've been worried about attacks on the systems here for some time, right? Like we always still have to worry about patching, right? People being able to find vulnerabilities and getting in, like countries outside of ours have been trying to attack our systems and probably are constantly as it is. But the AI element adds just another piece of that's concerning, right? Because it's like, oh, is there another layer that we're able to attack? And so then we could potentially impact our nuclear energy, and critically impact a nation, right? I mean, like cyber warfare in general is not the same anymore. Like we don't see cyber warfare. Everything we're seeing right now in Russia, everything we're seeing right now in Israel and Palestine, we're seeing so many cyber attacks taking place with all that they're doing. And we don't hear about warfare anymore where it's just missiles landing and that's it, right? Like cybersecurity attacks go hand in hand now. Like, this is definitely something we have to worry about, because this is the way our enemies are going to attack our country. But I don't know, Bryce, if you have anything else that's on your mind that goes along with that. I can see you nodding.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think there's been a lot of publicity recently about the Salt Typhoon intrusions into critical infrastructure. There was some write-up saying that they did incident response at one of the sites, and that the attackers hid in the camera system, and then once the incident response people left, they just reinfected the network, right? So I mean, it is really hard to get sophisticated actors completely out of a network. I mean, you can definitely ruin their day, but it's tough. And then, now we're layering all the LLM AI stuff on top of it, and I've seen a lot of high and critical bug bounties being paid out recently, which are all very low sophistication. Just individuals coming in, talking to the LLM or the chatbot, and getting it to do something that it's not supposed to do with a relatively high impact. And so I honestly feel like, to a certain degree, AI and LLM systems are lowering the bar required for malicious actors, and helping those groups that historically maybe didn't have the best operations kind of level up their game. So, it's not great. I also feel like, as an industry, we are ripe for, and I don't know what the term is for this, but we're ripe for kind of like a blink breach, right? Where in the blink of an eye, somebody gets a foothold in the network, deploys a worm that's LLM enabled, right? And that it figures out how to propagate in the network, and then it instantaneously ransomwares the network, right? So I foresee that coming in the next 5 years. And I'm just copywriting that right now. It's called Blink Breach. I made that up on this podcast right now. Shelby doesn't like it. I can tell from the look on her face, but that's okay. I'll let Shelby come up with a better name. So, but I mean, our tools are not really designed to. I mean, maybe it's not even a tool problem. It's like our processors aren't really designed to react that quickly. So, we're going to have to get approval from our CEOs to say, hey, if we see a blink breach capability in this network, I need authorization to have the EDR or whatever the endpoint tools are to automatically contain it. And, if that causes an outage in certain edge cases with legitimate practices, then that's a risk the company's going to have to accept to stop this other risk. So I don't know. We'll see how it plays out. But I just, CEOs, executives aren't going to sign up for that until they have to, right? And I think that day is coming rapidly where they're gonna have to get way more aggressive about containing things through automation. So. Anyways, what do you think, Shelby? You did incident response a long time. So.
My face was not about your naming. Your name, Blink, is
Blink
very
Breach.
Nice. It's good. Blink Breach. That's nice. I'll start using that. It'll catch on in no time. My face was just thinking about the scenario of I don't like what you're describing because it sounds scary. That's all that was.
Oh, okay, all right.
It actually, on a simpler level, it actually reminded me of attacks against routers. Your infrastructure itself, because we look at our endpoints, we look at our servers, we look at our apps. When someone wants to look at your router, it's that's working, don't touch it, please don't break it, but it needs an update, right? Or, it's really hard because it's so critical. It's hard to get buy-in to do the right maintenance sometimes, right? So that was one thing that it made me think of, was, using that AI to combat the AI is kind of that similar situation where you've got high sensitivity, you need that uptime, and it's a little risky, but also failing to take appropriate action is also risky, right?
No, I'm right with you because, I mean, Log4j taught us this, right? When the Log4j vulnerability hit, I mean, and we were seeing vulnerabilities prior to that externally that were worrisome, but that one was so impactful. And it was that was a blink breach, right? Like all over the place, blink breach. You know, I like the term, Bryce. I'm going to use it now. The Bryce blink breach. I mean, but that was a big deal. Like when we saw that, like oh wow, for months I slept with my laptop next to me and would just wake up in the morning and boom, like checking different systems, and we were like scanning everything, analyzing everything. You know, this was back when I was at 3M, and when we would have upwards of 100,000 plus servers, right? Like that would scale up. And so I mean, we had a massive amount of servers, and so many things were externally facing. And we were just like, we had bug bounties going on. We were testing left and right. We were looking throughout our environment. That one was a big deal. And, you know, and I think, you know, that definitely shows us what's in the future, right? And I think we should be already having those conversations. Yeah, I agree with you, Bryce, that there's going to be the blink breach down the road. And honestly, we should be thinking about that right now. Like chances are a lot of companies, you know, they've already had it. and maybe they know it, maybe they don't know it. But external vulnerabilities that's been something that's frightened me for quite a while, right? Like when Spring for Shell came out, I did a demo on that where I just, you know, put together a little Java container, you know, emulated, you know, what you would need in order to exploit it, and I was able to show my team like in moments, downloaded the exploit, ran it, boom, owned the Linux server. I even had EDRs running on it. EDR didn't catch it. It saw absolutely nothing when that first came out. You know, of course they caught up, but it was like, I don't know, maybe a day or so. It took a minute before the EDR was able to identify. And those external, like remote code execution vulnerabilities, that's kept me up for a long time. Like that's scary. And that creates blink breaches all over the place. And I, you know, like hypothetically speaking, like, like I've been in those shoes where you'd have to, or yeah, like how much can I say? like no company I've ever been at has ever had anything major, thank goodness. But there's definitely been moments where we've had to take things down, quickly act, move, you know, to make sure something didn't happen. And if companies, if as an incident response person, if you haven't been in those shoes, you may not be looking close enough. Because you should be ready. You should know exactly what you need to do, and you should be, you know, have a plan in place of how you can take down a server and quickly act. Because external vulnerabilities right now, whether it's AI or not, like they're getting hit left and right, and people are getting into your environment without even phishing, right? Without the click, they're getting in and they're figuring out ways to get below the EDR. But yeah, so I like your concept of the blink breach. I think that's something that we should all be thinking about constantly, and AI just makes it a little bit easier, like, right? Like we already have vulnerability scanning systems that can help find vulnerabilities out there. So you couple that with AI, you know, what are they able to find in your environment and move a little bit faster? So where are you working right now, Shelby?
I actually retired last month.
You did? Wow.
Not really retired, I call it that, but I have a toddler and I finally stepped out. So I was at Adobe for the last 9 years, and then I just stepped out of full-time work last month.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, Adobe's a great company. I just did like some software engineering there for like a little bit, but I've worked with the cyber group there. I mean, I guess actually Bryce came from Adobe. That's probably where you know Bryce, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What years were you there?
So I was finishing my master's, and I was working full time at the LDS church. But I was in managing software engineering. But I wanted to, step in the shoes of engineering at another company too. So I think it was 2012, 2013, somewhere in that range.
Okay.
So, yeah.
And
I was working on a project where we were creating a mobile version of Adobe Analytics. So we were creating like a mobile version of that. So I got to help stand up the servers and help figure out, like I got to do like kind of the first initial pieces of putting that together. creating, I can't even remember, it was like the graphical interface for like the mapping system. What do they call it? It's kind of like your like a Google Maps that we were putting together. So then you could overlay Google Maps with all of your analytics, so you could see like what was happening on your website.
Cool.
Yeah, so it was fun. It
That's
was
really cool.
No, it was. I mean, working because I had some kids at home too, and so doing that. So I was doing that at the same time as working full time and finishing a master's. So it was a little crazy.
Oh man, that's a lot.
Yeah, I don't recommend doing that. It was a lot to take on for sure. But
That's wild.
so is this your first?
Yes.
Oh,
It's great.
congratulations! That's awesome.
Thanks. I'm trying to find ways to keep up some skills, build other skills, get a foothold. So we'll see. Right now, I'm just kind of learning a little bit of development because I'm a little weak in that area. So we'll see.
Well, you know what? AI helps there. So
For sure.
AI to like help, get, like create Python scripts. I mean, it makes it honestly like I think AI is fantastic for that.
Yeah. It's really cool. I'm trying to learn the foundations, like the basics, so that I can know how to use it well. Or I guess
Right,
revisit it. I haven't programmed much since college, so
Yeah.
getting a call from Bryce. One moment.
Okay.
Sherry says hi.
Yeah, I can hear what he's saying.
Oh, my mic must be pretty good. Sherry can hear you.
Yeah, no problem, Bryce. Hey, thank you.
I apologize. I'm not sure what occurred, but
Yep, you're just fine. But yeah, I really appreciate your guys' time. This has been fun.
so thank you so much, Sherry.
All right, thank you. All right, thanks, guys.